Something else that I did want to point out, look how difficult it is to put it on the crook of my arm. I'm going to break the strap. Hi everyone, and welcome back or welcome to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is May, and today we have a good old comparison video. I am going to be comparing the Polène Numero Un or number one in the nano size to the Strathberry Mosaic in the nano size. Now, as you can see, even though they look very similar, I am here to tell you right from the start that they have a ton of differences. So as I do with all of my comparison videos, we're gonna get into the specs of each little piece. We're also going to get into the pros, the cons, the differences, similarities, kind of my thoughts in regards to what I think about each. And I hope you find this video helpful if you are thinking about adding any one of these pieces into your collection, or if you have any family or friends that are considering one or the other, then I hope you share this video with them as well. Let's go ahead and start off with my Strathberry Mosaic Nano. The measurements of the Nano is 3.5 inches in depth, 7.1 in width, and 5.5 in height. The Nano does come with a top handle that is not adjustable or removable. It just stays as so. It does have a flap sort of opening with a magnetic mechanism. The interior does have a slip pocket in the back, and the interior does have a microfiber line. The exterior does not have any pockets. You do have two small little leather feet at the bottom, and this handbag is 100% handmade in Spain. Mind blown, because the price of this handbag is $555. So I am just blown away by the fact that they are hand making these pieces. And then another addition that this handbag does come with is an adjustable and removable crossbody strap. Now moving on to Polène's number one in the nano size, and the measurements from this one run 8 inches from the bottom end. It does have 3.5 inches in depth, and then height is 6.7. As you can see, this piece is also made of a full grained leather material. I will get into some of the differences a little bit later in regards to the touch and the feel of the leather for each of these handbags. And it does sort of have the same kind of mechanism. However, this one has a clasp button which you open here, and then it opens up the flap like so. You also do have two additional clasps here which allow you to open up the handbag a little bit more. Once you get inside, the interior of the bag is a fabric lining, and then you have one small slip pocket in the back. In the exterior of this handbag, you do have a small little pocket here, and then you do have 4 metal feet at the bottom, as you can see. You also do have a non-removable or adjustable top handle option for this piece, and the Polène number one Nano also comes with an adjustable and removable crossbody strap. Almost forgot to mention the retail price for this piece at the moment. I am filming this at the end of May of 2024, and it is currently $470. I wanted to share a picture of the handbags side by side, and you can see the Polène is definitely a little bit taller. I will get into what fits inside and the fact that one of these is a little bit more comfortable to maneuver than the other. So let's bring back both of these pieces, and as you can see, they have a ton of similarities. I feel like kind of the layout of both of these are very similar. They both have a slip pocket in the interior. They also have a top handle, and they also come with a removable adjustable crossbody, which we all know we really appreciate from these pieces. And they kind of have sort of the same opening mechanism in the sense that they both offer a flap style of opening for their pieces. However, with that being said, they are also very different handbags. As you can see, the Polène Nano I think is a little bit larger than the Mosaic Nano, so it does give you a little bit more room, especially that when you do open this piece, you also have these clasps here that allow you to expand the leather in case that you needed to carry a little bit more things. There's a lot of people that actually expand it all the way and close the handbag like so. I personally don't like doing that because I know that that will ultimately cause the leather to stretch long term. But the handbag kind of opens up like this, if I can share with you guys. There you go. And you definitely have a lot more room to play in order to put your things inside. With the Mosaic, you don't have that option. Once you open it, it's kind of like what you see is what you get. You can only place your things as best as you can in this little space right here. Another difference that I did want to point out is the top handle of these handbags. So as you can see, the Polène Numero Un Nano has the top handle on the flap that you use to open the bag. So it's very easy to go ahead and open this bag. The top handle does not get in the way of you getting inside of the handbag at any point. Where the Strathberry Mosaic in the nano size, you can see that the top handle is hooked to the sides of the bag. And by having this option like this, when you open the flap, the top handle sort of restricts the amount of opening that the flap can do. I personally don't find it bothersome. It hasn't gotten to be something that I kind of notice whenever I'm opening the bag to get in and out of, but I do want to point it out because it is something that maybe you might find as a con. You can definitely open it up a little bit more if you wanted to, and that is something else that now I want to get into, and that is how soft the leather of the Strathberry Mosaic Nano is. It is a grained leather, as I mentioned, but it is a very soft grained leather. So I feel like you can really just play around with the movement of this bag so much. Whereas the Polène in the nano size for the number one definitely has a more of a stiffer sort of leather. Doesn't make it uncomfortable to get into the bag, but I do feel a lot of restriction here, especially when I'm opening the flap. Like you can see how much wrinkling the leather does get when you open the flap like so. I don't think you guys are being able to pick it up because there's so much graining in this bag, which is so beautiful in my opinion. But definitely leather-wise, the Strathberry is a lot more supple, a lot softer, as where the Polène is a little bit more of a stiff sort of leather. So before we get into the crossbody options and where the handbags stay at the longest and the shortest setting, I do want to get into the top handle option of these handbags. So as you can see, the top handle of the Polène is a little bit more narrow as to the width that you get to play with, while the Strathberry definitely gives you a little bit more room. So it is very comfortable, very fuss-free for me to be able to slide the crook of my arm into this bag. Whereas for the Nano, I definitely need to make a little bit more of an effort. Nothing too out of this world, but it's not as comfortable to slide it in as it is on the Strathberry. I hope you guys can see it here in the camera, but it basically just is a tighter fit on the Polène, especially if you do have a coat, a blazer, or even a jacket, where the Strathberry definitely gives you a little bit more room to play with since it is spread out a little bit wider. Something that I like to share is like, look how difficult it is to put it on the crook of my arm if I'm doing it like that just with one hand, while the Strathberry I can easily grab it and just boop, slides perfectly in the crook of my arm very comfortably. All right, so now that we have that out of the way, let's get into the crossbody straps. And last but not least, I will be sharing sort of what fits inside of both so you guys can get a perspective of capacity for each of these nano bags. So the Strathberry strap, as I said, the leather of the Strathberry Mosaic is extremely soft. And that is something that you'll also feel when you do play around with the strap. As to, oh gosh, I always feel like this tower one day is just gonna tumble and we'll have to figure it out when that happens. But back to the strap, where you definitely feel the difference when you grab onto the Polène strap. As for width of these straps, they are pretty much the same width. They're both very thin straps, which I don't feel like it's a bad look for the bags since they are on the smaller size. If the bags were a little bit larger, I would definitely want the straps to be a little bit thicker. Now, something else that I did want to point out specifically on the straps is the comfort when you are going to adjust the strap based on these little kind of like, I don't even know what the name of these things are, but, and that is something that I got asked a lot when I talked about the Polène. When I go to remove the strap in order to adjust it from the Strathberry, it just pops open very, very easily. No struggle, no kind of like very harsh sort of pull in order to get those these little metals out, and then you being able to adjust the strap. You can go ahead and put it in any other section that you wanted to, and you just slide the leather in very, very easily since the leather is so soft. Unfortunately, I cannot say the same for the strap of the Polène #1. I feel like every time that I remove this strap from that handbag, I'm going to break the strap. It is very stiff. I don't know if that will soften up over time. So if you had the Polène Nano for a very long time, let us know in the comment section down below if you have noticed a change whenever you go ahead and kind of open up the strap. But I'm just gonna show you. So if you were to, like, let's say just put that there, like, you definitely need to put a little bit more effort into it because of the fact that the leather is still so new and stiff. I don't honestly see this leather softening as much as the Strathberry currently is, or will probably soften even more. I feel like the Polène leather is meant to stay like that, which I could appreciate, but at the same time, on moments like this, it kind of worries me. So, okay, we have it there, perfect. Now, if I'm gonna open it, like, I literally need to just pull it, and I always go back to double check to make sure that the strap is okay. So that's definitely something that I noticed right away. Now, before I share with you guys how this handbag sits on me on both the shortest and the longest setting, I did want to share how it is that the crossbody strap goes on each of these pieces. So as you can see in the Strathberry, the crossbody strap hooks on the hook from the top handle option, which I did mention in my kind of like first impressions video that I did of this piece, that I wonder if this long term will harm the leather. Now, personally, I don't plan on wearing this bag crossbody too often, but if you do go for a color, or if you simply just love the fact that the bag comes with a crossbody and you plan on using it like that, that would be something that I personally will find kind of like not concerning, but at the same time I would be a little bit aware of over time, and just make sure that I check the leather to make sure that it's not rubbing on the glazing too much and causing it any harm. Now for the Polène, you do have the crossbody strap, which hooks on these little hooks right here on the back of the bag. And my biggest concern for that style of crossbody is the fact of you having to move. It is very, very stiff with those little loops. So I don't know if the camera is gonna pick it up. I'll try to film with my video and insert a clip. But in one of these, I think like you can already see a little bit of wear on the glazing. And I do feel like if you're constantly moving the strap, whether you're adjusting it or you're just moving it, the fact that it's so narrow, this hook, and that the leather is really just rubbing on there constantly might cause some wear to the crossbody strap glazing as well. So in a way, I feel like in a sense, they both have a little bit of a fault in that aspect. But again, just wanted to point it out. So let's go ahead and try this on at the longest setting. For reference, I am 5'3" or 160 centimeters. And let's go ahead and put these on, and then I will stand up and share with you guys how it is that they do fit. Here is what they look like on me crossbody. And again, this is at the longest setting option. So the Strathberry definitely hits a little bit lower. Here is my hip bone just for reference, and you can see that the Polène Nano still hits a little bit higher. One thing that I do want to point out, and this is more when we get into like the shorter crossbody option, is I personally like a higher crossbody, but I know that sometimes the top handle can be a little bit uncomfortable. It doesn't happen really a lot with the Polène, but I just want to mention that the top handle of the Polène is stiff. This top handle is not going anywhere. Where the top handle of the Strathberry has a little bit of movement to her. So if you do like a little bit of a shorter type of crossbody, you can definitely move this top handle forward and she'll lay like that, and it won't be like digging into your rib or at the bottom of your chest or anything like that. So that's a really nice feature that the top handle of that one does have in case that it becomes bothersome. And then one thing that I do want to point out is that, again, being that the Polène is a little bit of that more sort of rigid type of leather, it does pop out of your body a little bit more than the Strathberry. Nothing too crazy, as you can see, but I just wanted to point that out. All right, and then we are back for the shortest crossbody setting. Let me push you guys a little bit more back, and here we go. So again, the Strathberry will definitely sit a little bit lower than the Polène. So here it is how they look on the shortest crossbody setting on me. One last thing I did want to point out with the Strathberry, this is definitely the shortest crossbody setting that the Polène will give you. The Strathberry, on the other hand, even though it has 3 nods that you can play with, you can go ahead and then just add a little bit more and make it even shorter. So you can move this hole, which technically sits on the shortest setting, all the way to the one at the lowest part. Hopefully I'm making sense. I feel like sometimes I don't know how to explain myself. But here we go. This is what I'm going to show you. However, keep in mind that since you no longer have any more holes here, it'll basically kind of sit like this. But again, you do have that option of making it even more short in the case that you wanted to, just because you want it to sit a little bit higher. Like I personally am loving where it's hitting at the moment. As you can tell right now, they both hit exactly at the same height if I go that route of adding it to the last little nod or little kind of like stub that it does have. All right, so I hope you found that little segment of this video helpful. Let's get into what fits inside. I'm currently using my Cuyana system tote in the mini size, and this is what I currently have inside of her. So I do have a sunglasses pouch. I have my mini pochette, which is extremely overstuffed, so I just took out the peel box that I carry in there so that I can close her. And then I have a small packet of wipes, and then my Strathberry card holder. I mean, literally just grab them, put them inside the Nano, and then the soft case for the sunglasses, I can throw it on the top part, and I can go ahead and close the bag very easily. There you go. Let me bring my phone into the picture so you guys can see as well, because I know that last time I forgot to do that. So I do have the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I can just go ahead and slide it in the back part of this bag. Okay, so this is what we have going on. We have iPhone, mini pochette, wipes, and then card holder. I would probably go with even a slimmer card holder, to be quite honest with you, but that's the one I have, so I just transferred it. And then since the sunglasses case is a soft case, then it'll just slide there at the top. If I wanted to, I can also cinch in the sides of the bag, these little kind of like hooks here. And again, close her up. And there she is. Now let's go ahead and see if we can fit all of this in the Strathberry Mosaic Nano. So I did share on my first impressions video that the mini pochette does fit in this bag. However, I personally would not pick the mini pochette to take in this bag if I was using it, simply because even though you still have a little bit of room to play with, it takes away a lot of space from the handbags. Now, I do have, again, iPhone 15 Pro Max, and it does say that it fits inside. However, you will have to be doing some little bit of maneuvering. So you do have to kind of slide it like this first, and I have a case on it. And I mean, it's not the thinnest case and not the thickest case, but it does fit inside. I could also slide in the little card holder. I just don't like my bags to be like so compact where like it becomes a little bit of a mission in order to get things out of. So that's why I'm saying like I would never pack it like this. The way that I would go with this bag in particular is I would stick with the card holder. I will remove the mini pochette as I mentioned. And then I would go with something smaller like the Celine pouch or something similar in size. I can just put like the necessities that I need in this pouch, and it'll fit in here a lot more comfortable and also give me a little bit more room to play with. So I can go ahead and slide in the wipes, and then I can put the card holder in the front. And I would switch out this particular sunglasses case, and I would go with something even softer, which is kind of like this little pouch here. So we'll put in some sunglasses there, and then I can slide those at the top. So here's what she looks like. Let me show you the interior. So wipes, my phone, my little Celine pouch, card holder. Guys, for the most part, I'm carrying my phone in my hand, but it's always nice to know that in the case that you did need to put it inside of your purse can hold your phone. So sunglasses in the top, and there she goes. Perfectly fine, good to go. Top handle or crossbody option. All right, so final thoughts. Honestly, I love them both. I think that they're very different, where you can definitely have both in your collection. They both come in a ton of beautiful color options as well. Strathberry just released a beautiful sort of raffia mix for the spring and summer season, which is absolutely stunning. And we all know that Polène tends to release these very beautiful muted sort of colors throughout their seasons as well. So I really do think that you can easily have both of these beautiful handbags in your collection. I'm extremely surprised by the fact that this handbag from Strathberry is handmade, and that just adds a little bit more of a character and more meaning to the handbag. Polène does not hand make their handbags, but they are made in Spain in the same sort of city, was what the sales associate from Strathberry was mentioning to me when I did go into the boutique. So we know that they're being made just with as much care as well. Let me know if you own any of these two. Which do you prefer? Let me know after watching this review video which one catches your eye more than the other, or if you're like me and think that each serve a specific purpose where it makes sense to have them both in your collection. As always, I appreciate you guys for taking some time out of your day to spend with me today, and I hope to catch you all in my next one. Bye everyone.